Welcome back. In our last class, we had the WordPress dashboard walkthrough. So that's what we did. We handled the overview of the admin dashboard, the settings, user roles, and media library. But today we will look at the next module where we get to start developing some of the skills we need. Yes. Let me share this again. So moving on, today we'll be looking at posts and pages. In the last class, we talked about posts and pages. Today we'll just get to look at some of the differences. When we create a post and we create a page, we'll get to see what they both look like. Then we'll look at categories, how to categorize your pages, how to categorize your posts. Then also how to create and format your content. We'll also look at the block editor. That's Gutenberg. That's how some of that was call it. We have more time when we look at themes, uploading themes. Let's get to posts and pages. I'll share my other screen so that, yes. Let me share my work. So in the last class, we did a couple of things, going through our dashboard and all that. So today, having already understood what our dashboard looks like and what it feels like, let me just click on this to ensure that I'm still logged in. Okay, I'm still logged in. Yeah, so today, posts and pages. Let's look at them. So posts and pages are similar, but not the same thing. I would use websites to show us an example. So posts are for blogs, like I explained in the last class, whereas pages are the main pages of the business. An example, this is a sample website. You see this: home, about, services, shop, blog. These are separate pages. Whereas the content of each section, or an example now, like here, this is a blog section, and each of these is a post. So I will show you how to do that. Well, let's look at it. This is the home page. So this is an example of a page. If I go to the about, you'd see that's the about page. Yes, this is an about page. So you see that this is a page. Then services, this is also a page. Yes. Then let me go to blog. You see the blog. This is also a page, but the individual content, like this particular blog, Business Lessons from the Life of Joshua, the Son of Nun. This is a post. This one, Why Nigerian Businesses Need Global Consulting Standard. This is also another post. So you've seen what the page looks like. Let me open what a blog post looks like. Now you see it's very different. You can also have sidebars if you want. You see how it is. You have an image if you want. You can also take out the image if you want, but I'll show you how to do that. You see how the text is plain, straightforward. Just the way you see blog posts written online. That's an example of this. In plain terms, They function alike, but they don't do the same thing. So if you want to create a page, or first, let's start with the post because it's the first here. So if you want to create a post, you just click on posts. Here you see all posts. If you click on all posts, it will show you all the posts that you have currently. Whereas just like you see add post, you can also add a new post. If you want to check all the categories of posts you have, you can click here. So you remember in the last class, we created another category like WordPress. Yes, so that then I also explain what tags are. So you can create a category. Let's say I want to be creating multiple posts. I want to do some on, I can edit this post if I want. I can do a quick edit. I don't want to name it as WordPress. I want to say web design. So I want to be creating content on web design. That's one of the posts I want to create. Then I also want to create posts about digital marketing. I could also see that. You see that create business consulting. If you notice what I did, if I just click enter, it automatically creates the slug for me. The slug is like the URL. So like your website.com/post or blog/category. So that's how it works. So I can do this. And if you notice, now I have that. You have the slug. You can choose a parent category if you want one to be under another. Let's say I want to create a category on marketing, but I want marketing to be under business consulting. So I can put it under business consulting. So if I add this category now, watch, you see this business consulting, then you have a subcategory as marketing. I can even add another, let's say under marketing, I want to add social media, or I could change social media. I put the parent category. See, I can also choose this. Now, social media is under marketing, but marketing is under business consulting. But let me change this. I want social media to be under digital marketing. So you could just come here and change that, and you'll be on your way. So let's go back to all our posts. We've seen how to create categories of posts and what they do. So if you're creating a post, you just click on, okay, since we have all posts, let me do this as an example. Let's view, we already know what this post looks like. That's the homepage of the website itself. So this is that particular post. You can see have comments and all that. I remember I told you that you can write comments on your blog posts. So let's say I want to create a new post. Now, this editor we see here is what we call the Gutenberg editor. There are different other editors. There is Classic Editor, which is actually my favorite. But for the sake of this, we'll use Gutenberg. I'll also explain how to manipulate the Gutenberg editor. Your title is the title of your post. Let's say my first post. Choose a block. Now, you see this icon. You have what we call blocks. The blocks are for different elements. You see a paragraph. You see, if you want to add a paragraph, you can use this. If you want to add an image, you can do that. If you want to add a heading, you can do that. If you want to add a gallery, like something that would have like a slider, you can do that. If you want to add a list, a quote, you can do all that. If you browse all, you get to see every other widget or element that you can add. If you have more plugins, remember I told you plugins add what the website can do. Plugins adds to the functionality of the website. So if you have more plugins, you'll also see more options here. So if you want to add a code, look at the way it's displayed. Yes, the way it's displayed, that's how the code will show on your website. You can also add details, pull quotes. So basically anything you want to do, just look for it here and you should be able to do that. It also gives you a preview so you see what it feels like. If you want to add the file so people can download stuff, you see that it also gives you that file action, and it gives you a download button, which you can also edit to change and write the text that you want. But for the sake of this class, I want to do something simple. I'll just add a simple paragraph, then I will add maybe an image. So the paragraph, this is already a paragraph without. So let me say, welcome to our WordPress Mastery training. If this is your first time building a website with WordPress, trust me, you're gonna love it. So something as simple as this, I could do this. This is a paragraph. I can change this to a heading. Watch, the text format changes. You seen that? So let me move back. I want a paragraph and not a text heading. Yeah. So choose a block. Let me change that. I said I will just add an image. So let me add an image to this. So I can upload an image from my laptop or whatever I'm using, or I can choose an image from the media library. The media library is currently what is on what I've already uploaded on this site. You see this? So I can choose these are the images I've already uploaded on this site. But if I want, I can upload a new image. This is showing my laptop. I don't know if I'm not sure you can see my laptop currently, but I can upload a new image from my laptop. Let me go back and share my full screen so you can see everything I'm doing. Yes. So you should be able to see my full screen now. Yeah, so I'm choosing the image that I want. So I could just pick any image from my laptop and I will be good to go. This image is the big 3 MB. This image is too big. So it's not ideal to use big images because it will impact the load speed of your site. So, but there are other tools that you could use to enhance this so that it will load faster. Now watch this. This is the full image, but I can also shrink it. Watch this. You notice the size is reducing. So however I want to, I can do this and also start writing at some other point. Or well, let me just leave it a bit bigger. Yeah. Then I can do that. There's another thing you can do. If you want to add an image, you could also add an image from a URL. Let's say I go to Google and search for pine trees. I don't know why I thought of this, but let's just look for an image of a pine tree. Then I can pick up the URL for this. I mean, yes, so I could just pick up. Let me see if this is the URL. I hope it is. Well, usually, okay, let me still click on this to open the main image to where it is originally. If I do that, you just come here and insert the link, and this shows up. This image has an NTR out. No, I think that's wrong. Let me go back to the image and see. Yeah, so I can copy the image address. Yes, that's what you should do. Copy image address. Then you come in here. Yeah, so you see how this works now. Now you can see that fine image I put here. I don't know why it's not showing properly, but you get the drift. That's how you can add an image using a link, but I don't need that. So let me take that out and delete. Yeah. So to get this sorted, this is a post, like we said, you remember. So we can look at the post features and everything. You can choose a category. All the categories you saw us add, you could add that. So this is about digital marketing, website, okay, web design. You can choose a web design. If we want a tag, you could just write the initials of the tag. But if the tag is not already on your database, you could just add that here. So if I click on WordPress, I click on enter, or I click on the comma, it would add it automatically. And once it adds it here, it will create it on my category or tag list. So I can do this and publish this content. Let me publish this. Let me show you what it, like I said, on our, we just created a WordPress tag from for our category or the post we just created. I can come here now and click on tags. Nope, I'm not trying to create a new post yet. Tags. And you see WordPress, the one we created while we were doing this. So we've created this post. You can right click to view. Let me show us what it looks like. Now you see this. This is a simple WordPress post. There are a couple of things here that don't change. This is your footer, so you don't touch. When you're editing your post, you don't touch your footer. It does not affect your footer, except you can do that as a setting, which I'll also show you. So you see this, my first post, which is what we did. Welcome to this, love it. Now, if you're designing something like when we talk about themes and templates, you get to see that you can choose or customize your themes and your pages, your blog posts, how you want your blog pages to be. You can customize that. So looking at your blog, this is how you create a blog post. It's very simple. Now you see this, my first post is now live. As simple as that, you can do that. If you want to edit a blog post, even after you're done with everything, there are two ways to access that post. You notice this is a post. So while opening the page, if you're logged in, you can just click here where you have edit post. So if I click this edit post, automatically I can go back to my editor, my Gutenberg editor, to edit the post I created. But if I don't want to do that, I can come to all posts and with that, I can see my post here. Then I just click on edit and I can edit it. It will take me back to this page. But if I click on quick edit, all I can do is just to change either the category, the tag, the title, the slug, or the date. If you want to schedule a post, you can schedule that. So this date here is 15th January. But let's say I don't want this post to be published today, but I just want to write them down and position it such that it will automatically come out. Let's say you do weekly updates or daily updates. You can just set everything down if you've created all the content. Then it can take you from there. So if you click on this, this is still January. I can change these dates to something like, let me see, 26th of January. I can choose the time also. So if I do this 26th of January, if I update it, it will no longer be published. It will be scheduled. Let me see. Are you seeing that? Scheduled. It will no longer be public. So if I go to my posts, or no one can see this online. I can view it because it's mine, but it will not show up online. Look at it now. It's saying preview. Instead of it to say view, it's telling you to preview. So you can preview this because you are the one who made it. But other people won't see this until that particular time and date that you set for it, right? So I just wanted you to understand that about posts. You can do the same thing for pages, but let's be clear on this. So quick edit, I can go back, change this. You can change the category or change the category. If you make this private, you are the only one that can view it. If you add a password to this, nobody can access it. Let me add the password, for example. Let me say the password is WP -M. So let me copy this so I don't forget. Now, I won't schedule this anymore. I will change the date to today, which is the 15th, and I update password protected. Watch this. So if I try to view this page, personally, I can view it because it's mine. Oh, it's still locked. Are you seeing this? Okay, I thought I wanted to use a new browser, but I just noticed that it's open. So password protected. So I would need to enter a password before I can open it. So you can use this to create something like class for your website. Let's say people are subscribers to your website or to your content. You can use this to do that, to create that kind of seclusion so everybody would not have access to that content. So only people who subscribe can do that. When we start talking about plugins, you also see how you could add membership plugins such that you can categorize your posts that only people who are particular members. You remember when we did users, and we talked about admins, subscribers, and all that. So you can actually have different tiers of users for your website, such that if people pay a particular amount, they will fall under a particular category of membership and they can have access to some particular content. So that's how you can do this. That's what the password protects does. So I take out this password, it will be free for everybody. So with this, you have a basic understanding of how the posts work. You can play around the content here. If you want to add a button, let's say for instance, so I'm choosing okay, so say type / to add a new block. So what you're seeing this here, I can add a button. So you see this, I'm choosing a button. Button, let me say download guide, right? So for this button, I can choose its features. Look at this. This is to add a link. Yeah, so I can do this and add a link. These ones are for adjustment and alignment. Yeah. And so you can choose a style for your button. If you look at, this type of button where it feels like it's, yeah, outlined, but you could use the feel. Then you could also play around other things, highlights, inline code, whatever you want to add to the button. So let me just leave that. But align text left, right, center, however you want, but let's leave it at center. Justify item. So basically, not so much to set here. Don't want to do so much with this. So you see this from here, you can change the style. When we talk about style as the color and other things, you can change this, the color of the background. This is black. Let me change it to blue. This is of that whole section, not just the button now, of the whole section where it is, the button was displayed, or where the button is being displayed. Or I can go back to, can just clear to make it remain as it was. Then let me see. Font size, you can see this. To change the typography, you can do all that. For padding, okay, so we have what we call padding, margin, and border. Let me use this to explain. The padding is the space outside the element, between the element and the edge of, let's say there's an imaginary line here, like a box. So the padding is that space between this. Let me see, let me use a text to explain that better. When we start designing our page and using the Elementor, I will show you more about this, because then you would truly understand what it feels like. So the color, like we said, styles, you could change the text color. So you see that. Ensure that you have a proper contrast such that your background does not interfere with the color of your text. So you could get that done. Play around the display and everything, subtitle and notation. You see, these are different styles. Yeah. So medium, small, extra, extra large. These are different font sizes. You could choose any of them. You could also choose, this is the padding that I was trying to explain earlier. So look at this. The text did not change, but it's changing the space between this element, that this particular text, and the next element. In this case, the next element is the image. The previous element is the first post, that's the heading. So the padding is the space between both of them, right? So you need to know the difference between a padding and a margin. I will explain. You know how you want to write on a sheet of paper and you have those two A4 books that we buy that have lines at the top, from that runs from the top left to the bottom left. Yeah, where the left part you write your numbers, then the right part you write your text. That left part is what we call the margin, the space that you cannot use, if I can use that word, that term. So that's for the margin. Or padding feels like it, but it's not the same thing. So you see this here, this icon shows that it's both the top and the bottom together. But if you want to change it, you may need to click on this set custom size. Okay, set custom size is to change. There are different dimensions. There is pixels, currently it's using pixels. You could change this to percentage. We change it to M's and REMs. I will explain this VW, that's view height and view width. So if I want to unlink the side, because currently whatever I do affects both together, but if I want to do them separately, I will just unlink this. Then if you notice this, I'm making the head bigger, but the bottom is not changing. That the top padding is changing. When you start designing, you would know the difference, because sometimes you need to create a proper space between some of your elements. So that's how you get to do that. You adjust this, you do this, you notice the bottom is adjusting separately. So that's how you get to work around that. Then this one here is right. So you adjust the right part. Now you see this. Now with this, you're getting to understand what the padding does. So look at this. It's pushing your content. The box is not changing, but it's pushing your content such that sometimes you can use it to centralize or adjust. Yeah, so that's how the padding works. Then you know what border is. Border is just the edge around your content. So if you want to adjust the border, you can still do the same. Now you see the border. Yeah, the outer part. That's it. That's your border. So now look at this. This is a good one. This is a good one. You see the border. The border is the black part, whereas the blue part is the padding. With this, it better explains the concept I was trying to explain earlier. So this explains it. It pushes it. You can also change your border radius. Border radius also has another property, which is the border. The border rather also has another property, which is the border radius that you can adjust. You can make this. Look at this. Look at the edges. See how it's changing. So you can use this to adjust that. So you can choose the color of your border. See this. You can choose the color of your border. Yeah. Padding does not need coloring, but you can, with this, you see this. So your border radius is what makes it curved, which is this. If you notice, I can make it go back. You can also unlink your radius such that if let's say you don't want to make all the edges curved at the same time. You just want to curve one area or some other area for design. You can do that here. Let me do this. Watch this. The top left has changed. I want to make it bigger. See this. So I can actually manipulate the design. This is the top right. See this. So you can play around it, however you want it to be. Then, so now you see a design is different. If I save this and let me check my post if it's still reflected. Let me see. Yeah, so you see an example. Now, same post, but it feels different. So that's what you can do. You can play around this. Once you start designing, you could do so much more with this. You can do so much more with this. Yeah. So moving on, we've looked at posts. We've also looked at category and tags. We also looked at creating and formatting the post content using the Gutenberg editor. So let's look at a simple page now. From this, I've shown you how to create your first post. So let's go create our first page. You can still play around this. This is a link. It's a button rather. You can add a link to this button. See the link icon? You can add a link such that you could link it to any part of your website or to any content that you want. You can link it to a file, you can link it to a document, whatever you want. You can move it out. So let me refresh this. Currently, look at it, it's a dead link, nothing works. But if I refresh, now watch this. It's showing me at the bottom left. So if I click on this, it will take me to where I linked it to, which is my website. So I think we're good to go. This is your first post. It's simple and straightforward. You can play around it. Look at an example of a post online. Let's just go online. This is a simple one. So from this post here, you could see, let's analyze the elements first. The first element we see here is an image. So you can add an image first. The next element we see is a text, which is the title of the page. So you can add a title. The next, you see your content, which is like paragraphs, separate paragraph, another paragraph. Then you see a heading, the H1. Here you see another paragraph. Then here you see links. Okay, let me do something. Let me just try to mimic some of these things. Let's change the title of our post to right. So change the title. Then let me see. This is a simple text. So this is a simple text. So let me enter a paragraph. Because I can just drag it and drop it here. And I paste this. Watch, I've pasted my content. And you see that. Then now this is a heading. So I can come back here and choose a heading and enter the content of that heading. You see this. So it's as simple as that. It's very straightforward. There's no much thing to, okay, now let's do this. Let me see how this will come up. I'll just stop here for now. This is a paragraph. Then watch this. Yes, it did not create that ordered list that the initial one had. So how do we create it? Let me see where the ordered list came in from. One of the requirements and one of the things. Okay, so let's go back. We need, okay, here it did already. So you see this. If you notice this, look at it. It's created a separate block here, which created that ordered ordered list rather, or bulleted list, which is an ordered list. So if I save this, you would see that my first post will change, the title and everything will have changed. Now you see this. This is a blog post. You see the other designs, I left them there so that you see that we are making progress. So this is an example. You can click on this button to play around with whatever you want. This is where people can leave in comments. Oh, let me put something. Thank you, NG, for such simplified learning. Okay, so if I post this comment, see, it's showing me a comment. I can go to, when we talked about this, you said comments. You can come to comments and you will see that comment here. Look at it. Thank you, NG, for such a simplified learning experience. So you can manage a couple of things from here. Having exhausted that, I know you should have gotten the basics of creating a post. Then let us create a page. Let us create a page using the same process. So I know you're very conversant, or you should be comfortable building a post or putting your first post. To do a page, same thing, same process, everything. You could click this to access all pages. You could add a new page. So let's design a simple one. Let's call this Okay. You can choose a pattern if you want to create a style using the templates. You can choose how you want your page to look like. This is an RSVP page. This one is about for a landing page for a book. This is a podcast. You could use all this if you want. But let me create something without all these. Let me just create something simple. I want to create an about us page. So I will just need some content. So let me use this. Yeah. So about us. I'll show you how to work around this when we start designing properly with Elementor. You can create your separate header and all that. So this is a simple about us page. The first part has 2 sections. So let's see. I will close this post because for now, I think we're done with this. So let's work on our page. Now, our block. We can add whatever we want. But let's see. You can choose between to edit items or the page. Then you also choose to edit each block, like every individual block. Let me see if I can find a section. Row. No, running a row of Substack. Okay. So this is an example of something I want to do. Now you see this, I just created 2 rows so that I can put in different content on each side. Here now I could put a paragraph, which is the text. Oh, it's creating 4 rows for me. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Let me undo this. You can undo by just clicking Control Z. Yeah, you can undo by clicking Control Z. Then simple. You could also add another element, which is an image. So just go to the library and pick an image, or let me see if I can upload something smaller. Okay, this is a periodic table. So something, yeah, this is smaller, 236 kilobytes. So something like this. So with this, now watch this. See, I can put it beside that content, can adjust it such that they both will be sharing the content space. Yeah. Just made it come to the top. So I can put it before the text, after the text, beside the text, then adjust how I want it to look. Featured images are images that when you copy the link, those images that would show while the link is underneath, such that it gives you like an explainer of what the page is about. That's what featured images are. So if you set it as such, it would also be taken as a featured image. So you could add an image, a text, design your page the way you want, the way you feel like. If I save this, I publish it, just the way we had the post. That's how, watch this. It's a page. Same thing. Initially when we started, we did not have an about page. but now we have an about page. If I click on this, it takes me, oh, this is even a dead link. It's a dead link. So, but if you look at the top here now, an about page has come out. So sample about. It's as simple as that. You could use the Gutenberg to edit your pages, make it simple. But personally, I don't fancy the Gutenberg for pages. You can use the Gutenberg. I can tell you to use the Gutenberg for your posts, but I would not encourage, except you like it, but I don't. So I don't like recommending anybody to use the Gutenberg. You can play around it. There's so much that you can do with it if you master it. There's so much you can do with it if you can master it. Yeah. So you see, you can play around it if you want. It can give you can make you good. Yeah. Can do a whole lot though, don't mind me. But I personally don't like the Gutenberg because I prefer using the Elementor. There's Elementor, there's WP Bakery and other builders. But I just had to focus on Elementor and mastered it such that I can do whatever I want with Elementor. So with this, I think we're good. This is how you get a page. Then, like I shared earlier for the post, if you want to edit a post, if you want to edit a page too, you can see this. You remember for the post, it showed us edit post, but now you see this is a page, so it's telling us to edit page. If you click on this, it will take you back to this point. But when we upload some plugins, you get to see that you may not use, it will tell you edit page, edit with Elementor if we are using the Elementor plugin. So this should suffice. Yeah, this should suffice. If you have any question, you could just let me know. This was our post. So if you go back to your pages, you will see all the pages that you have. So if I click on pages now, it would show me all the pages that I have on this website. It will show me all the pages that I have on this website. So you see this, I have a privacy page. So pages like the privacy pages, since they are just simple text, you can just use the Gutenberg editor. Let me open this and see. The privacy page is pretty straightforward. And yeah, you see how it is. It's just, there's no other content other than text. So if I publish this, it's currently not published. If I publish this, it will come out as a page such that you can view it. So let me go back to this. If I refresh, let me see if the privacy page will come up. Yeah, see this. But your pages should not be popping up just because you created them. We will get to learn about menus. This is currently your header menu. This is your footer menu. So once we learn about menus, we will fix all that. So with this, I think we have done justice to the post and pages lesson. How to, you know, the difference between the post and the page now. You've seen what categories are and how to create and format the content on each of these. We also use the Gutenberg editor. In our next lesson, we will focus on themes and site appearance. Now we get to make some things beautiful. We get to understand what themes do. We get to see free and premium themes. We get to install and activate some themes, and we get to customize our themes. Customization makes you work on your brand guide. If you have a brand guide, that's what customization does, so that you can make it and tailor it to your brand. Then we will look at menus, widgets, and homepage setup, how to build homepage. Your practical for this would be to customize your website yourself. So this is what we have to do